There are some victories which are unforgettable ones, but there are very few campaigns which stick in the minds and hearts of fans forever. Indian women's hockey team under Rani Rampal fell short of a podium finish and had to settle for the 4th place after going 3-4 down to 2016 Olympics gold medalist Great Britain. Hello and welcome to TV9 News. I am your host Abhijit Singh Bhamra and I have with me two very special guests. First, 1984 Los Angeles Indian men's hockey team member Romeo James and TV9 digital sports editor Sandeep Mishra. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Sandeep, the campaign is over for the women's hockey team. They tried their best, but in the end, they had to settle for a 4th place. Your thoughts on the game?
Well, if you call a heartbreak as a classic one, this was it. I mean, you're losing the game, then you come back, and then you again lose that match. I think when you see or when you saw these girls crying and sobbing and on the turf completely heartbroken, you actually felt in a sense that you've come this far, so why not one more step? But I think sport, to use a very cliched term, is also cruel in that way. But the one takeaway, if you really ask me, also was in the mix of all those pictures, you saw the British players coming and consoling them. I think that normally sets up a extremely high standard of sportsmanship, but it's also nice to see players mingle up. You rarely see this in men's competition in that sense because the intensity probably is more. But yeah, it's heartbreaking to see finally you finish 4th, which was what they did in 1980. But this was a very different competition. Honestly, I think they should have gone far.
Well, heartbreaking it was indeed, but also we should not forget the kind of facilities which are given to the women's hockey team. But we won't go there. Let's focus on the game. Romeo, 4th place position. Are you happy with the performance, or do you think they could have gone on and take that podium finish?
There is always expectation.
Yeah.
When you go into a match, it's always expectations of winning it at least.
Yeah.
So expectations were there that they might pull through, and they nearly did it because after 2-0 down and then 2-2, then coming 3-2.
Yeah.
So the expectation very high. And what into my mind later on, what happened was in the I think in the 4th quarter, when they flashed with the yellow card and green card, that ended it. So in modern hockey, if even 10 players are there to play, it takes the juice out of you.
Right. Sandeep, we saw in the game what happened. India had nearly their hands at the middle when they were 3-2 up. But like Romeo said, that in the last 7 minutes what transpired, you got a couple of cards and you were reduced to your 10 girls, I beg your pardon. So clearly, there are areas where the team needs to work on. But do you see that we were there, and had we got the rub of the green, we could have got a podium finish?
I think to take it a step further, I think one needs to understand what the coach said later, which is the one thing that this team probably needs is a high degree of competition all through the year to be able to understand what they are up against. I think a lot of teams are surprised with the intensity that India showed. They were surprised that they were holding the ball, which is a very rare thing. If I really recall the last World Championship, they were losing a lot of ball. There were a lot of turnovers, even though they performed well. I mean, that probably set up the foundation. But yeah, what Marine says is what this team requires right now. That if you really need to do well, if you really need to take a step up, go into a final, go into a World Championship final or a semi-final even, and play good, you have to go abroad. You can't be sitting here inside Bangalore constantly throughout training and not being able to compete with these top 6 teams in the world.
The exposure to competition is what you are referring to.
Yeah.
And Romeo, we saw in the last game as well against Argentina. But I would go to the Australian one where we stunned Australia 1-0, where we defended well. So from there on, the confidence was pretty high. But then against Argentina, we were 1-0 up and then losing 2-1. And now again, the question which I posted to Sandeep, we were 3-2 up and then losing 4-3. So there are areas in which the team needs to work on.
Yeah, like when Sandeep said, see, you train for a certain amount of time, and then you have to have a competition.
Yeah.
So that gives you like the reality checkup where you stand.
Yeah.
Even the coach and all, they will have the same this thing, no? So they will have a system,
Yeah.
see, some players are good in practice matches and all,
Yeah.
but some are good at matches. So that gives
Game situation.
game situation to that means coach will also have good opportunity to see them who performs well, and after 2 months of practice, again a match, again better sides. So touring is important, that and gives you a lot of your mind starts opening up.
Your
when
horizon
you
expands,
when you
yeah.
play different teams, no, like Dutch, German team, Australian team. So what they can do is plan out New Zealand and Australia their matches,
Yeah.
and then European teams.
Proper international
Yeah.
scheduling is required.
There's a point I'll make is, in a recent interview, Rick Charlesworth said that what India requires, but probably this entire region, is an Oceania League, where Australia plays, Malaysia plays, China plays, Japan plays, Korea
Correct.
plays, India plays. So they have this constant competition that also, in a way, negates the entire international air travel that is required. Remember one thing, in Europe, you can drive to competitions. Holland drives to Germany, Germany drives to Belgium. Likewise, also a lot of Argentina players are playing in the Dutch league. So almost 6 to 7 to 8 players are already playing in the top league there. So for them, playing against those very teams is what then they see in the competition. For us, we are extremely isolated.
Right.
Because if Australia can fly over to New Zealand, where do we fly? We can't be flying to Nepal and Bangladesh and all of that to play competition.
Yes.
Because so that isolation has to end. Because you can keep training and practicing with the best coaches in the world. But unless I'm up against you, I don't know where my weakness is.
True, that's right. Romeo, we have to talk about Savita Punia, the goalkeeper, and clearly one of the standout players from the Indian women's hockey team. Your thoughts?
Yeah, under the bar, she cooks so cool. Like Shreya's this thing.
Little fidgety?
He shouts from
Yeah,
behind. She's
yeah.
very quiet.
Yeah.
And she's very, in fact, where I'm coaching now,
Okay.
she has been attached for the last 2 years there.
Right.
She's one of the coaches there.
Okay.
So she came over 2 years back. So she's very cool. And she had a very good game, but there's a reason behind it. She has been there for the last 7-8 years.
Right.
And-
An experienced campaigner. So
very
your thoughts?
experienced.
I think in a way, by the time we saw them today, I think the team had started gelling as a unit.
Yeah.
The defense was bolstered by the goalkeeper, but you saw the defense playing under Eka pretty well. Even today, Vandana was extremely good. Gurjeet came into our own,
yeah.
getting those penalty corners.
Yeah.
So I think as a team, probably they peaked in a later stage. I don't know
Yeah.
why. I don't know the science of peaking and all of that. But after losing and then suddenly peaking, that was very gratifying. That was a pleasure to watch.
Yeah. Romeo,
Yeah.
where is Indian women's hockey team heading next? And after this successful campaign, finishing fourth, what can we expect from the Eves?
Oh, they'll be on high,
Right?
for sure, because semi-finals of
No mean achievement.
Olympic is no mean achievement.
Absolutely.
People have been training and training. Just see, I think even you can look at Australia
Yeah.
and other teams and all. They trained the whole year this thing, and they were unable. So it's a big achievement for the girls. And from here only they can go higher. And because
Rise
so
upwards.
much of they will sing in the media
Yeah.
that a lot of girls will come to this game.
Right.
And when you have bigger pools, again I say, you have to have at the top level make 4 or 5 teams pool, so that you have more of
Competition,
players,
more of
competition.
exposure.
So even if you are short of this thing, so you can have matches between yourself.
Yeah. Inter matches. Sandeep, final thoughts?
Agree with everything that's being said right now, but I'll probably say something extremely different out here,
Yeah.
which is you're giving them the money, you're giving them everything. They probably won't even get the money because they finished fourth. I think all these speeches and all of this is very
Promises
nice.
and all.
All of them really mean a lot in the moment, of course, when you have big politicians coming and talking to them. I mean, if I was the sports minister, honestly, if I was somebody out there, I would immediately say, okay, 18 players, get these 18 corporates to give them general manager jobs right now with a salary was at least 2 lakhs a month.
Exactly.
You need to protect their future.
Yeah.
You don't need to protect their present because they're already protecting it. and they have already given you the present as a gift of a fourth or a third or a silver or a gold. You need to protect the future. I think this is very crucial for Indian sport. Don't look at the other sports like cricket and all. I think hockey requires that. That you immediately sign off appointment letters and you give them that this is your job, go to Bombay, pick it up and do it, and also train. I think that is crucial.
Absolutely, that is indeed crucial, because not just the present, the future also needs to be secured for all these players. But as far as the Tokyo campaign is concerned, it was a case of so near, yet so far there were a lot of positives, but it also showed the Indian women's hockey team that where do they actually need to work on in order to become a stronger team in the near future. Thanks a lot, Sandeep. Thanks a lot, Romeo, for your thoughts. And who knows, after this brilliant campaign in Tokyo, there might be a young girl out there, young Rani Rampal out there, who would look to pick up that hockey stick and say to her mother that I want to play for India in the near future. Well, that's all what we have for you in this special edition of Target Tokyo. For news and updates from India and around the world, keep watching TV9 Digital. Thanks a lot for watching.